I'm IEEE 802.11 Vice Chair, and the 802.11 organization develops the standard for what is commonly known as Wi-Fi devices. And today, or now in September, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of the foundation and the formation of the IEEE 802.11 working group.
All right, and this is the 25th anniversary of standardized, y'all setting the industry standard for Wi-Fi. So, in your opinion, what's been the biggest accomplishment of having this industry standard? And in hindsight, would you have done anything differently?
I think the biggest accomplishment of the development of the IEEE 802.11 standard is its adoption broadly in the industry and the development of Wi-Fi products that are used so broadly in consumer space and the enterprise space, to where we've enabled the use of what was previously thought of as less desirable or really undesirable spectrum in the 2.4 band to be very ubiquitously used globally for the benefit of humanity, and to become something people really expect to have and use every day globally.
Yeah, your microphone cut out there for a second.
Okay.
Can
you do that one again?
Yeah. All right. No. It's fine. We just maybe go back and answer that question again. Sorry, you cut out there at the end. It was very sudden. I think you moved a little bit further away from the computer.
Okay. Try not to do that again.
All right. It's fine. We can hear you fine now.
Okay.
All right. So, we'll just so
I'm happy to do that one again.
Yeah, please. Yeah, that would be great.
I think the biggest accomplishment, Jeff, is that the IEEE 802.11 technology has been so widely adopted over the past 25 years, and really today is a technology that nearly everyone across the globe recognizes and uses. Perhaps they recognize it as Wi-Fi, but we've taken previously undesirable spectrum in the 2.4 band and made it accessible, made wireless networking accessible to everyone. And
do you feel that with the advent of the new unlicensed spectrum technology, which works in the same band as Wi-Fi, how do you feel about this competition? Do you feel like these two technologies can coexist, or do you feel like they're permanently at odds?
I think you're referring to the work going on defining an LTE-U standard.
Yes.
And various forms of LTE in the unlicensed band. And certainly that's a challenge because the spectrum is unlicensed, and one of the assumptions of unlicensed band is that the technologies that are used in those bands do coexist and share the spectrum fairly. So I think what's going on now are conversations and discussions about really how to make that happen with the advent of LTE.
And so as we've, over the last couple of years, we've seen Wi-Fi networks grow from things that 3 or 4 interconnected devices in your home to offices, to buildings, to city blocks. Several cities have implemented municipal Wi-Fi networks, and many of these have had great difficulty. Yeah, but do you see Wi-Fi potentially becoming a nationwide utility, as commonplace as telephones, as old landline telephones, or water and power?
That's a great question. I think actually today we do have nationwide Wi-Fi, and in fact we have global Wi-Fi. It's the coverage is in local areas and in enterprises and in particular areas. It's not ubiquitous coverage as you have with cellular, and the technology really wasn't defined for complete ubiquitous coverage as you have for cellular. You may see that in the future, but today there really are two different applications. And the fact that Wi-Fi 802.11 technology is deployed so broadly, it really is nationwide and global.
Mm-hmm. In the era of extremely costly spectrum and soaring demand, is more Wi-Fi and greater wireless internet the key to addressing the issue of spectrum shortage, in your opinion?
In my opinion, absolutely. In the .11 space, we've gone from having a standard that addressed the 2.4 band, which was initially made globally available, and then the standard was extended to apply to the 5 gigahertz band and various subsets of it. Relatively recently, there was a standard amendment published, 802.11ad, which provides a specification for operation in the 60 gigahertz band. So we're seeing extension to additional bands. There are additional bands certainly even beyond 60 gigahertz, including TV whitespace bands and 802.11ah, which deals with sub 1 gigahertz bands. So I think you'll see 802.11 technology in unlicensed bands as they become available. And regulators are looking at further extensions to unlicensed bands.
And on that note of regulation, so we've seen technology's advancement rate just become staggering over the last couple of years. As the technology advances, is it getting difficult for the industry to set standards? I mean, once you set the standard for one thing, it's already been passed by another thing. So has this been a problem?
I don't think it's been a problem, Jeff. I think industry standards are always difficult to set. They were difficult in the beginning, in the 97 to 99 era, when the first Wi-Fi standards, first 802.11 standards were published. And because you have competing interests among vendors, and in that case you had proprietary solutions that were out there that individual vendors were advocating for. So it was difficult then, it's difficult now, because you have different players. And the benefit of working within IEEE is that you do have an open standards development process where anyone can come and contribute, and that's what people do. And I foresee additional amendments coming to the 802.11 standard that will address new bands and provide additional bandwidth improvements and efficiency improvements. And
transitioning briefly to a subject that's been on everyone's minds lately, and something that has unfortunately been easily facilitated by the connectivity of the Internet of Things and Wi-Fi networks, cybersecurity. Do you foresee there needing to be a higher requirement for security of systems you set the standard for?
That's a great question, Jeff. Security has been always an important topic in 802.11. The major security improvement was made in the 802.11i amendment back in 2004. And so currently the standard itself does support very strong security with the adoption of AES. And the challenge now is to get adoption and not just implementation is there, but deployment. And for users and operators and enterprise deployments, typically they do install very strong security on their Wi-Fi networks. So the technology is there, it needs to be deployed and used.
All right, and finally, so we're looking back on 25 years of successful Wi-Fi deployment. As you said, it's now something that you can find in any coffee shop in America. But what do you see the next 25 years bringing to the industry?
In the next 25 years, I expect to see continued enhancements and improvements in the underlying technology for efficiency improvements, for higher bandwidths, for new applications of the Wi-Fi technology to further enhance its deployment in all of the myriad of applications that we see today, and new applications such as you mentioned with the IoT. And I expect also that the regulatory frameworks and a major advancement back that in the early 90s when the 2.4 band was opened up to Wi-Fi. And we've had extensions to that. Now there are challenges ahead, and so I expect those to be met and the technology to advance.